Last time we talked, it was around March 20th, 2020.
Uh-huh.
At that time we were doing radio interviews. So this might actually even be your first time seeing me. So let me reintroduce myself. I'm sorry.
Right.
Uh, my name is Matt, also known as Mr. No Offense. And when I originally first started podcasting and interviewing different artists, I got the opportunity to sit down with you virtually, I guess, over an app, and ask you some questions regarding your career. And at the end of that interview, I asked, would you be willing to do it again in the future so that we can compare the answers based on where you are in your career? You remember that?
I I don't, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So, um, what I was just listening to when you came into the room was actually some of the answers that you gave me.
Uh-huh.
So, you mind catch up for a little bit? Is that okay? Okay. All right. So before we got to when we got to know you the first time, you did allow us to learn about you that you have been performing seriously since 2011, uh,
Right.
and then it was around the Austin area. How has your career been going since then? Uh, since we talked.
Well, honestly, between then and now, I had taken a break for multiple reasons, and I had started venturing off into other endeavors in life. I started Keita's Kitchen, excuse me, and which is my food business. And then I also started Keita's Closet, which originally started with me selling clothing articles, but then now I'm more so in the lane of styling. And so I got my hands in a bunch of different things. But as far as my music goes, of course, since then I've released a lot more music. I say a lot more music because I took a whole break for a year. So I've dropped In My Bag, I've dropped The Comeback, I've dropped um, recently Pressed. That's my most recent song and video that I dropped on my birthday. And I feel like between then and now, with me taking a whole year off, I feel like I've accomplished a lot. I just got, of course, as you know, um, a write up in the Austin Chronicle. Um, I had a
Congratulations.
performance during South by Southwest. I got booked for 3 official South by Southwest shows, and I'm just kind of keeping my head down and staying busy, and just trying to make sure that everything that I do nowadays is bigger than what I've done it before. So
Definitely congratulations on your success, and we're glad to hear that you did continue to produce music. The last tracks that we heard from you were awesome. On the last interview as well. That interview can be heard on Spotify, by the way. And your I just remember I asked you this question. What was the craziest thing you've done? And you're like, let me think about that. And I was like, uh-oh, y'all stop the tape. Here we go. It's gonna get crazy. We had the unique opportunity as well to speak with you right before COVID. I think that was the biggest thing as well. Right before they
uh-huh.
initially announced that COVID was a
Right.
pandemic. I think I had just spoken with you, and you were getting ready to do some big things as well as your music. So I understand. I'm guessing that's about the year off as well, correct? Around that, because I know
Right.
everybody had to stop. I did go to South by Southwest. I did visit it earlier this year. Uh,
Uh-huh.
what did you think about where it was before to where where it's been in recent years? Because it does look like it's making a recovery as well.
Um, well, yeah, it's making a recovery, but I'm not sure if it'll be the same as it was before. Because it's changed in a lot of aspects. Before it was more so about, people would come to South by Southwest and they would get discovered in a sense. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people would come down here and before you know it, after that, they took off. But nowadays it's like they just all cater to the celebrities, and it's like they're already famous. So
Hey,
it's already not the same in that aspect. And then, as far as like the amount of people that had changed before COVID hit, anyways, due to that man coming down here and driving through the crowd of people and
Mm,
people down. And so ever since then, it's really not been the same. COVID just kind of like solidified that
wow.
changing, like a lot of people not being down here during South by, but I think it's making a decent recovery, due to all of those things happening, and being a factor in, not being that many people in attendance. I think it turned out pretty good.
Man, yes, man. Um, being an artist from Texas, and over the time that just the last time we spoke, we lost Mo3. We also recently with this PNB Rock
Right.
situation. I'm sorry about that. I just got a brand new dog and he is tripping right now. So all right, so what do you think as far as being artists? Do you think the game has gotten more dangerous and just because people want what it is that you have to work so hard to attain, or what would be your input on those particular situations as someone who is coming up in hip hop? Is that something that you think about on a certain basis? Because it does seem to be occur, it just seems like it's occurring a lot
Uh-huh.
in a short amount of time. So what was your input on that?
Um, Honestly, I think rappers have always kind of made themselves walking targets by walking around with hundreds of thousands worth of jewelry on them, and then walking around with that much cash on them just because. Like what normal rich person walks around with?
I
And this is not to like poke fun at, the people that have lost their lives due to them being robbed, because we're not victim blaming. I'm not victim blaming. But I'm saying rappers often make themselves targets for situations like that, But nonetheless, it's a tragedy, and I think it's something that's been going on for a while. I don't think it just started to happen. I don't think it's gotten any worse than what it's been over time. I just think that, you know, it's more in our face because of social media, and we're in a day and age where you can see a person bleed out on the fucking internet and take their last breath. Like it's really weird. It's weird, I hate it because man has family and friends that has to see that shit. And I wish we would make better decisions as a people and stop putting ourselves in those positions where we're going to these grimy places. That's like, it's probably a bad example, but that's like, I don't know, let's say I go to, a very poor country and I make myself a target by looking like a freaking tourist. Obviously, I look like I'm not from there, and I'm walking around with a whole bunch of fucking jewelry and money on me. You're damn right, these people are gonna fucking rob me. I could be there to hand out fucking food and water. They're probably still gonna fucking kill me and rob me because I made myself a target. And so that's just kind of how I feel about, people going to you went to the grimiest fucking Roscoe's. Ain't that where he was at? Roscoe's Chicken and
Waffles, chicken and waffles, yeah.
in town. For what? What do you have to prove? You just said somebody was trying to rob you recently and you weren't with security. You're with your family. And then you go to the grimiest fucking chicken and waffles with a whole bunch of jewelry on.
Yeah, yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like that's some like I'm not saying that you ever ask for something like that, but I can see how you like not being careful that that's not the situation. Though. Like,
Like at that point in your career, you have to have more awareness. You're not a regular person. You know this.
yes, definitely. I mean, with them, with artists having to work hard for, especially if it's real or not. But the fact that they have to work hard to maintain this image, to get this image of this level of stardom, do you think it's just a part of their uh, figure, like of who they are publicly, that they feel like they have to put that persona on, or
It's
is
a
it more
choice.
like ego?
People clown J. Cole every fucking day. and Kendrick because of what they wear and because they don't look like the average fucking rapper. But the average fucking robber isn't gonna want to fucking go take no goddamn flip flops or no motherfucking Crocs off of J. Cole. Hell, they gonna have to hold his ass ransom to get something. You feel me?
It
I
got
mean, I'm just saying. I'm not saying you have to put on the whole fucking J. Cole look to. But at the end of the day, yes, I do feel like that's a part of it. It's a part of their brand. Yeah, of course. That's the rapper look, just like fucking rock stars have certain looks and et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, we have to be smarter. When you're not a regular person like that and you don't keep security on you, which I'm pretty sure can be pricey as fuck to have somebody with you every goddamn day, everywhere you go.
yeah,
It it,
definitely.
it don't cost more than your life.
Yeah.
You just gotta move different. That's just how I feel about it. Fuck it.
Well, I can definitely understand where you're coming from on that. As far as because you are further along your journey from where we were, speaking about last time when I talked to you, you were doing well, yourself then. I believe you had came off certain performances. We discussed your last, your first performance and where you were at a certain level of, being an entertainer at that time when the show's on. Because you've gotten more experience and you've done more, are there any more jewels that you would be willing to pass on to just other independent artists who are trying to make a lane? Because right now, it seems to be like more of the independent movement is really a big movement right now. If you understand what I'm saying, there's
Right.
a lot of people really feel like now is the time to tap into their musical side. I'm not, because they're talented artists and experienced artists, and you know what I'm saying. And then there are the people who are just like finding themselves and trying to figure out where they are, to be able to take their career somewhere. What is there any knowledge that you might be able to give them now because you are at a different level in your career as well?
Um, to be honest with you, me personally, this is just me.
Mhm.
I say quality over quantity because a lot of people just think, just pushing a whole bunch of new stuff all the time is what's going to get them somewhere. And that may work for some people. But I mean, if it's trash, trash. You just got a bunch of trash out. So quality over quantity. And also, don't be scared to shoot your shot when it comes to opportunities. I know a lot of times in the past years, I've waited for a lot of stuff to come to me. And I thought because I was putting in the work, the right people were going to see me. Nobody's knocking on my door and looking to help me. That's just not how shit works. And you're not being realistic when you think like that. Talent can only get you so far. But, you know, if you actually put yourself out there and keep putting yourself in people's faces and taking them chances, you just never know how far that shit'll take you. So don't be scared to shoot your shot.
Facts, facts. We did speak last time about. I think you came into the interview. We were talking about promoting, and you say you're not going to get anywhere without promoting yourself.
Right.
And it's just, uh, I did see the article that you did recently, and I was just like, you know what, it's amazing because I was reading it. I was like, it's amazing. I just spoke with her like 2 years ago, and I see where she's at, and she's still pushing, she's still grinding. It was a beautiful article the way they put it together. And I was just amazed. I was like, it's good to see people still going, especially with the change of the times. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
when you're independent, you're seeing a lot. You're doing a lot of things, and the direct person who's affected is you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like a label where you've got, okay, we can do it these ways, we can do it this way, we can do it this way.
Mm.
So when you're independent, you're really kind of you're making decisions based on your knowledge, but you're hoping the guy that goes right too, because you're like, damn, I don't have you know what I'm saying? I don't have the time to backtrack in case this goes wrong, you know.
Mhm.
And because you have been able to elevate, were there times that were tougher than most over the last 2 years, or that you really were just find yourself in a situation where you're like, I don't know if this is what I want to do, but you still found a way to push past those feelings, and keep going, or has it pretty much been smooth sailing since the last time we spoke?
Well, honestly, I can say during the pandemic, the one thing that was a struggle was like the factor of not having live performances. Oh, that shit sucked. You know, when you can't, interact with people and like really get out there and put your feet in the streets, it's kind of hard. And people get so used to regurgitating shit and just fast shit all the time. They're on their phone all goddamn day and they're doing this. And so, it's easy to get caught up in pushing shit that sounds the same or looks the same all the time. And so with not being able to get out into the world and interact with motherfuckers and really know what people want, it was just kind of frustrating. And so me taking that break was much needed. And like I said, it was for more than one reason. And I think me being able to sit back and really just go back to the drawing board really helped me look at shit differently when I did start putting more music out last year and this year. So yeah.
Uh, Facts. I got a couple more questions, and I appreciate your time as well. I know last time we spoke, we talked about the different passions that you had. One being music, the other one, I believe you said, was cooking. I know you said that you've recently, you opened up. Was it a restaurant, or tell us more about your, establishment as far as that cooking? Because you talked about it so well. I remember I was like, if I get a chance, we gonna find a way down there. We gotta see what this about for real. So,
No, actually, I didn't open a restaurant. My business is called Keita's Kitchen, and I basically focus on more desserts and catering nowadays. So for like baby showers, birthday parties, weddings, things of that sort. Excuse me, music events. I know coming up, I just got a big order for 100 mini cakes, and that's my first big order. And I'm like, I'm gonna be stressed out because this is gonna be like a 2-day ordeal. And so, yeah, pretty much basically I came up with the idea because I'm like, I'm always posting my food online and people are always like, let me get a plate, let me get a plate, let me get a plate. And I'm like, people are always following my social media anyways. Let me see if they'll follow me from the music to the food. And I just kind of took it from there with it, and people actually supported it. And I started out selling desserts and stuff, and I started selling plates. And then I just kind of stuck with what was popular and what people liked. And, I've just been going from there with it. And it's just been growing over time. And eventually I do plan on, getting me a food truck. But, I don't want to speak on anything too early right now, prematurely, but we're going to speak it into existence. So
there you
if you
go.
do come down here within the next year or so, hopefully you'll be pulling up to Keita's Kitchen.
All right, now. Okay, now listen up at me with a good time. Now, I'm a big boy. I love my food now. So, uh, I know that man, like you said, speaking things into existence. We did mention that last time. So I'm glad to see, that has come to fruition with your hard work. Were there when was did things go exactly like you planned them to go, or how you hoped they would go? When we talk about your resolutions 2 years ago, going into like, hey, I want to be doing this, and are they going according to plan? Are they finding their way on the map, or you
I
know?
don't even know what we discussed at the time, so I'm not even.
Well, well, you already got two. You already got two of them. I mean, the big two that we talked about, which is you said you want to continue making music, and that you did want to do something with your food. So
Right.
let's see if we can go two for two. What you got planned the next couple of years?
Well, I know for sure. One of my goals next year, because I know I wanted to this year be on ACL, but it's not the end all be all. I would definitely love to do that. So hopefully when we circle back, I'll be able to say yes. I'm
Done it? Okay.
And then, also put out my first actual album and not just the EP. So a good solid album, and for it to take me from here to there.
Okay.
Hella.
Well, we will definitely be on the lookout for any new sounds coming from Miss Chakeeta Bonita for sure. The last couple of tracks we had that you gave us, I believe there was one where it gave me like a set it off type mood. I was like, okay, so remind me not to piss her off ever. You know what I'm saying? So new music coming out, is it gonna be along those kind of lines, or is it gonna be you have a certain emotion that you're going toward, or you got a story to tell, or we just gotta wait and see?
Well, I try not to talk about one specific thing with my music. I try to kind of touch bases on a little bit of everything, but it's just all about what type of mood I'm in at the time. But right now, you're definitely going to get a new sound from me.
Okay.
That's what I can promise you.
Okay. All right. Well, Miss Kina Bonito, if you can, go ahead and give everybody your tags. I'm gonna make sure that they show up at the bottom, and if you allow us to release this video interview, they'll show up at the bottom, so they'll be able to add you if they haven't, and be able to check you out on all platforms.
Yep, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chakeeta B. That's ChaKeetab. And then also on Facebook at Chakeeta Bonita. That's ChaKeeta, and then space Bonita Banita.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Miss Bonita. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Bye bye.